We are so excited because our good friend, Dr. Vivian Chen, is here. We are talking all about red light therapy. Vivian is the founder of Lumebox, a physician who spent years studying how light impacts cellular health, inflammation, skin, mood, and recovery. If you've received a Lumebox as a holiday gift, or you've been seeing red light everywhere and wondering, do I actually need this? This episode is for you. Vivian breaks down what red light actually does, how to use it properly, and why it can be such a powerful, simple tool for your whole family.
And
Natasha.
yes, as you can see, I have one in every room. This is our guest room / office / my husband's office, multi-use space, but I have a Lumebox everywhere because we all use them. I have one for the dogs separately because I do use it on the dogs all the time.
We're going to get to that.
Wait, before we dive in, hold on. I have to just say, when she first came out with it, I was so skeptical. And you said, just trust me. And I brought it with me to Expo West. And when you're at Expo, you're carrying your bag like all day long. And my shoulder was killing me. And I used one session of it. And it went away literally within a few minutes after I used the entire session, the 12-minute session. And I called you and you're like, you must respond really well to light. And I was convinced from that day forward. Then my husband was totally skeptical. And then when he used it, when he like hurt his back, now he has his own on his side of the bed because he uses it that much.
I have had this similar experience. I was all in because I love anything you guys both recommend. But then I convinced my dad, who is 78 and a Western medicine practicing doctor. And he was like, I am not using that thing. And he hurt his ankle playing tennis. And I was like, just give me 3 days. And he's like, wow, one day it totally worked. And then fast forward, he now keeps it in his office for patients who have TMJ, and he's seen such a difference. He's a dentist. So that is an incredible testimony to you. Before we keep going on raving about how much we love you and your product, can you tell us a little bit about your background and how you got into this for people who don't know?
Of course. Hi, everyone. I am Dr. Vivian Chen. I'm a UK trained physician. So I spent 15 years practicing medicine in the UK as a board certified family medicine doctor, internal medicine doctor. And I also did 2 years in dermatology as well as a resident. And during that time, I started to burn out because I had my own health issues. My daughter had her own health issues as well. And we can go into that. I could talk all day about that. But just to summarize, it really woke me up to what I didn't learn at medical school, and the fact that there's so many root causes of health challenges that I was basically band-aiding over with just pills as a conventional medical doctor. And not saying anything wrong with medications. Medications are life-saving and very necessary, but I just wasn't helping people get to the root cause of their health challenges. And that was what I was truly passionate about. So when I moved to the States, I decided, you know what, this is a kind of a clean break for me almost to really pursue what I'm passionate about, which is root causes of chronic health challenges like lifestyle, nutrition, light. And so I started blogging, and then I got on Instagram, and then I met you guys, and now I have a platform where I focus on education. I feel like that's very needed kind of public health education almost. And then I started Lumebox 3 years ago.
Wow, it's only been 3 years. I feel like
It was at Expo 3 years ago. That's why I remember this. For someone who just unboxed a Lumebox, though, and is wondering why they even need this in their life, what's the big picture benefit of red light therapy?
I want everybody to think of light as a charger for your body. Like, so think of your phone. You need to charge it every night, right? Our bodies actually need charging as well. Inside every single cell, with the exception of red blood cells, we have what's called a mitochondria. Mitochondria are these, think of them as batteries. They produce energy for the cell to do the function. And so if it's a brain cell, mitochondria produce the energy for you to think, remember things. If it's your liver, the mitochondria produce energy for you to detox, to, regulate your blood sugar. And so without adequate mitochondrial function, you literally cannot, your body doesn't work. And so what we're seeing is that this dimming effect of mitochondria in the Western society from toxins, which I love that you guys talk about so much, toxins, poor nutrition, lack of light. And so our mitochondria is not functioning at full capacity. And if you think of a toy that runs on battery, that toy starts to dim or run slower, right? That's a lot of people these days. So you have these vague symptoms like brain fog, fatigue, like things that are not quite diagnoses yet, right? So you go to doctor does labs and they're like, oh, there's nothing wrong with you. You're just stressed out. Or you're a mom. That's why you're tired, right? That's BS. I'm sorry. Like you've got to optimize our mitochondria to feel better. And there's so many things you can do to do that. And, that's why I'm so excited to talk about it today. And it's not just red light, right? It's a lot of different things like light in general, getting the right type of light during the day and avoiding the wrong type of light at night.
Explain that a little bit. What is the wrong type of light? Like, I know I have the wrong lights. Just tell me.
Well, Natasha and I were just texting last night about light, which I got so excited about because, I didn't learn this at medical school. And I've only just come into the research recently. Well, the research has only been exploding recently, to be fair. But I don't know if you guys came across this researcher called Professor Glenn Jeffries. He's from UCL, which is where I went to medical school in the UK. He's done a lot of research and he actually calls the wrong type of light a public health crisis and as bad as asbestos, which is a carcinogen exposure. That's the impact of the wrong type of light because he's done so much research on exposing blue light to rats and things like that and seeing the actual impact, the biological impact. So if you think of our bodies as running on a clock, right? It's a 24-hour, what we call circadian rhythm or circadian clock. The master switch for that clock is light. And if you're not getting the right light in the morning, which is sunlight, that clock doesn't start. So your clock is already delayed. And then if you put the wrong light at night, which is blue light, which is what a lot of people are exposed to at night, that puts the clock back even more. So now we're in this rhythm where the clock is completely confused. If you go to concerts, right, imagine an orchestra and the different instruments are the different organs in our bodies. There's a conductor that's guiding all these instruments to come in at the right time. That conductor is light. So if you don't have a conductor, imagine now what that music sounds like. It's confusing, right? People are coming in at the wrong time, doing the wrong things, playing too long, playing too short. That's what's happening in a lot of people's bodies.
Wow. So you have to see sunlight in the morning. Is it bad? Like I've been doing the red light and I'm now 49 days. I've been doing a challenge with 2 girlfriends. I won't meditate unless it's competitive sport. So I made it a competitive sport with my friends and we compete who's on a longer streak. So we text each other like we're on day 49 of our meditation challenge. And I do it with the Lumebox every single morning. Is that bad? Because it's the Lumebox. It's not sunlight.
Okay, so this is how I think about it, right? I'm not about being perfectionist about anything to do with health, actually. I think there are different steps and we've got to meet people where they're at. So if you're, it's freezing cold outside, like telling Natasha, hey, go outside for 10 minutes in the morning, where it's like,
She's
you're
also
covered.
competitive. If you told her that, she would do it.
Yeah, she'll probably do it. So
I'm outside
somebody else.
Morning, but it's dark.
Right.
If you told her neighbor, in fairness, they wouldn't.
Yeah, right. And people have to go to work, like the ground could be covered in snow and things like that. So just being realistic about my advice too, like telling everybody, hey, go outside and get 10 minutes of morning sunshine. How practical is that? Can most people access that and do it? I don't think everybody can. And so what's the next best thing? I think it's red light therapy or some kind of light box, right? Like you could use Happy Lamp. I don't know
what that is.
So Happy Lamp is a full spectrum light box. So instead of just red and near-infrared, which is Lumebox, Happy Lamp gives you full spectrum. So like the whole spectrum of light. So it has
depression kind of thing?
Exactly. So it has blue, it has green, it has yellow, it has red, near infrared, like the full thing. And you only want to use that in the morning. You wouldn't want, and you wouldn't use that for things like inflammation or pain relief or skin rejuvenation because it's not as directed as the red and near infrared. So that happy lamp is really to set up your circadian rhythm, and that's it. Because what is happening when we get our eyes exposed to full spectrum sunlight first thing in the morning is we're getting blue. And blue, I know is bad at night, but blue is great for us in the morning. Blue in terms of full spectrum, right? So
Not blue from your phone.
right.
Got it.
Yes. Don't be like, oh yeah, wake up first thing in the morning. Dr. Vivian said I should get exposed to blue. So I'm just going to scroll.
Yeah, right. That doesn't work, I guess.
Like, get outside, because full spectrum is what activates the center in the brain called the suprachiasmatic nucleus. That's a mouthful, but the center that then triggers everything to start in your body. You will feel more awake if you do that. You might even feel like, oh, how come I don't need my coffee anymore? Because it wakes you up. It shuts off melatonin production and it starts to ramp up cortisol, which is the awake hormone that we need to actually function. Energy production is dependent on these hormones being in balance.
Do you think this is why that the sleep, I mean, there's obviously other reasons too, sleep habits for kids and adults have gone down dramatically and people are sleeping less and less?
Oh yeah. I mean, I think light has a huge impact on that. So when you get sun exposure in the morning, you actually sleep better at night. That's what the studies are showing. And it's incredible because if you switch off melatonin at a certain time in the morning with light exposure, the melatonin now knows what time to kick in the evening. And if you don't do that, now the melatonin is like, when should I kick in? 7, 8, 9, so it's kicking in much later. People are not feeling as tired. And then if you combine that with stress too, now you're like up until 11, 12 and not really feeling that biological tiredness that we are supposed to feel as humans. Like when we spend our time, 50% of our time outdoors in the 1800s. Okay. Now we spend 7% of our time outdoors now.
Wait, let's just highlight that again. In the 1800s, we spent 50% of our time outdoors. Now it's 7%. Wow.
Yeah. So that's a big difference.
That's so sad for our kids.
It's so sad. And there are studies now to back up the biological impacts of that. So there is a huge study of 200,000 children. And this is only looking at how bright the night sky is in the area they live. Okay. And when they looked at these children and where they lived, the children living in the areas with the brightest sky, so more light exposure at night, had a higher risk of obesity and weight gain compared to children living in areas where the skies are dark.
Like in the countryside kind of thing.
Exactly.
Okay.
I'm going to bring up something that's not in the script. Sorry. With this time change thing.
Emily has her own questions. Let's go.
I have my own questions. I got Vivian for 45 minutes. I got to ask them. The time change thing makes me crazy. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but it throws everybody off. I saw you did a post on this and it's just like, I'm infuriated by it.
Yeah. There was a study on, I don't know, 300,000 people showing that just that 1 hour change can have an impact on weight gain, obesity rates, and chronic health diseases. It's crazy to think that just 1 hour can have that impact.
I want to say I read some kind of study that said they're the most amount of heart attacks are during
and car accidents.
Are during that time period.
Not if you have an automatic driving car, but that's another.
So it's just like this. Well, maybe we all need to go there. We need all these solutions, right, to counteract the fact that we're not spending enough time outdoors.
Isn't that amazing? It's so true. Like technology has to keep up with the fact that we are not doing the right thing.
Yep,
for our
exactly.
bodies.
Yeah. The impact of light on our body is so significant, but it's not talked about nearly enough. And there are so many studies now that are just mind-blowing, right? Having night lights, I think you guys shared that study, and I looked it up, and I was mind blown. That study in JAMA that looked at something like 40,000 women, the women who had night lights or had a TV on at night when they slept were more likely to gain weight, something like 11 pounds. So it's not a small amount.
And they had less, I want to say it was less deep sleep too.
Yeah, I can't remember that part, but I definitely remember the weight gain.
The weight. Yeah, I know it was the weight gain. Yeah.
And also breast cancer risk goes up when you're exposed to the wrong light at night. So women who scroll on their phones and women who have exposure to white light or blue light at night, they are more likely to have estrogen positive.
I love you, Vivian. Estrogen. She's from the UK.
Oh, I was like, what's estrogen? I don't even know what I have.
No, I'm seeing Emily saying, what is that? I'm like, that's estrogen.
I was like, I have that problem. I don't know what it is, but I have that.
Yeah, my accent. Yeah, so hormones. People don't think that light impacts our hormones, but it can.
Natasha, when I'm with you, we're putting our phones outside.
I have my phone blocked at 9:30. Granted, I've been doing
but you still shop on Amazon all night. That's a lie.
You know
I'm going to call you out on that.
Okay, you put your phone to red mode.
I do. Right? I put it on the red. I do put it on the red.
If I do that, then I don't want to be on my phone anymore. It's so boring. I can't see a single thing. Like shopping is not exciting, right? I cannot even see what I'm buying.
No, and I put it on the red, and then like I go on Amazon, and then I'm like, see what new things are there. It takes me like 15 minutes, and I go to bed.
Then she orders things in a different color because she doesn't know what color she ordered.
Yes, hence why, like, when I opened things, like, they came and I was like, I don't remember ordering this.
I know, right? But isn't that what they said about the color? I think the color is stimulating and keeps us on the phone. So if you make it like monochrome.
100%. That's why, like, in the kids' rooms, I have the little red light incandescent bulbs and the rock salt lamps there because I can't change out in our home, right? We're in a rental home. It's LED lights, and so they're built in, and so I can't change them to incandescent. So I have
that is a great tip that I think everybody should listen to and try and adapt. And it's not
so when
that
I
expensive.
put the kids to sleep, so before we go in, like after dinner, I turn off all the lights and then I put on just the red lights. And so it's in the bathroom and in their bedroom, but it's much calmer.
Yeah, and you don't have the blue bandwidth from LEDs, right? Blue LEDs almost always give out blue.
Wait, going back, because I think we're on the deep end, like we're all in on the red light. You got us long ago. But what's interesting to me is I was in New York recently, and I'll be talking to my friends there, and they're like, oh, that's voodoo there's so many skeptics. So I really want to bust the misconceptions for those people and like give the science. So what's the biggest misconception that you hear? For me, it's like, oh, voodoo medicine,
I love that. Yeah. And I think it's the same with so many industries, right? Where a few bad apples ruin the whole thing. There are so many bad devices out there that just don't work. They are effectively like Christmas lights. And so imagine putting Christmas lights on your body. It's not going to do anything. And so that's why it has such a bad name. But red light therapy actually was put on the map by NASA, right? You can't get more science-based than that. And what they found was in space, the astronauts who were using red light to grow food, they had much faster healing of their injuries and wounds. And you can imagine in space, there's no gravity, so they get bumps and scrapes and injuries all the time, right, floating around. Those astronauts had much faster healing of their wounds and injuries when they were using red light. And so that's when they were like, oh, how come there's such a big difference in this very specific wavelength of light? So they started to study it. And that's when the research really exploded. And now we have over 2,000 published studies on red light therapy. But, and this is a big but, right? It's specific wavelengths and specific doses, right? The dose is everything. And what people are getting wrong is that they're just thinking, oh, red light, I'll just buy anything on Amazon.
It makes a big difference. People ask all the time, like, well, what's the difference between the Lumebox and some other one? And I'm like, there's a big difference, actually. There's the reason why she created it, because it didn't have the specifications that she wanted out there.
Yeah, and what happened was I was helping my dad recover from a muscular condition where he was bedbound, and I got a red light box at the time that I was using, and I tested it, and I realized that it didn't really deliver the irradiance that I wanted it to. So I started to look for devices that had these third-party testing, and I couldn't find any. I was mind blown. It's like saying, what dose of magnesium is in this supplement? The label is blank. Right? Like, how can this be the case that I don't know the irradiance? Or they will send me those hand optical meters where they're measuring the irradiance. I'm like, that's not how you measure. Sorry. Like, there's light bouncing around everywhere in the room. Like, you need a controlled lab tested irradiance to really know what dose to deliver. Because in the studies, you'll see that for the skin, it's a different dose. It's a much lower dose. For joints, you need a much higher dose. For TMJ, it's a different dose. So every condition has a different dose that scientists were using to get results. So how can we just use one device that is really, really weak to get the same results in real life? We're not. And that's why people think is, woo-woo or it doesn't work. They're not using the right device or getting the right dose.
So true. So if once you get your Lumebox, you got it for the holidays, you got it on the sale that she had, you unboxed it, you maybe put a label on it like Natasha does. How often should you be using it, and where and when? Like, what do you recommend?
I love that question. So it depends on what you're looking for, right? A lot of people want to use it on their skin, and skin is one of the most studied and most robust science-backed benefit. Now, for skin, you actually don't need a lot of light. So what I advise is putting the Lumebox about 5-6 inches away, and we have a stand so you can put it on the stand, and all you need is 6 minutes. So we have a timer and it beeps at 6 minutes to let you know it's 6 minutes. And if you're using it for the skin, that's all you need. Like, people are shocked at how little you need, right? But if you think about the masks that you can get, and I'm not putting anyone down, just stating facts here. Like, the masks have much lower irradiance because it sits right on your skin. And so it cannot be too high of a dose, or it's actually going to be bad for your skin. You don't want that much light, like right up here, right? And so it might work for your skin, but then you can't put that mask now on your joints or your back or your neck because it's so low irradiance, and you need a high irradiance for your
Does
joints.
it actually get everywhere on your skin? Because I feel like there's just certain places where it is in the mask. So
So the masks have got better now. At first, there were such big gaps that I'm thinking, well, the coverage is really not good. I mean, if you think about the physics, light does bounce around in the skin. So you get some, but it's not as good as something that's far away where the coverage is really good, something like the Lumebox. But if you were to go to a doctor's office or esthetician, nobody's using masks. They're using like professional grade panels.
Going around, and it's like higher up.
And they're high irradiance, and you'd be exposed for like 2-3 minutes, 5 minutes max. That's it. And you're done. Like, these masks, people are wearing it for 20 minutes a day.
Wow.
That tells you that they're very weak, right? And if I'm going to spend money on something, I want that thing to do multiple things for me. I don't want to spend $500 on skin and then another device for my joints and then another device for my hair. I want something that I can use for multiple areas of my body. And that's the key reason, like one of the main reasons I wanted to make Lumebox, is because I wanted just to simplify things for people. I want the iPhone of red light. So that's skin. You put it 5-6 inches away, and red or near infrared, red or combined mode. You definitely want the red. So here's a trick that I use to remember what wavelength to use. Red, you will see very bright lights. Okay, so that's light you can see. use it for things you can see: skin, hair. Near infrared light, on the other hand, is like you can't really see. Like if you put your Lumebox on in near infrared mode only,
You can't tell it's on.
you can barely see it. Right?
Barely. It's like a little slight.
You're right.
Like,
Use it for things that you can't see. Your joints, your muscles, like anything
My
deep.
stomach, I put it.
Yeah, exactly. So because that penetrates much deeper. So that's a really easy way to kind of remember. But if you are ever in doubt, just put it in combined mode. So that's the good
that's
thing
what I
about
do.
Lumebox.
Mine's combined mode every time. I sleep with it. It's literally on my stomach, then on my C-section scar. And then I was using it, remember when you're like, you have tendonitis, Natasha, you can't do any more weights. When I saw you a month and a half ago. So I've been using it on that. And then I don't do the stand because I laid down on the side when I do it, and I face it on one side and then I go on the other side.
Yeah.
That's like my routine at night.
Before I made a stand, I just propped it up on my knees in bed.
Yeah.
And it was the right angle.
Right. It's the right length.
Yeah, and the right distance.
I cannot go to sleep without having it on my stomach every night. Like I have to have it on my stomach. I mean, I have ulcerative colitis, as the whole world knows. And I think it's helped me so much with just like regular maintenance for inflammation, etc. I'm obsessed with it. And then every morning I meditate with it.
My C-section scar, and I've had 4 C-sections. So I had a keloid on my C-section scar, and it's basically disappeared.
Wow.
I'm so mad I didn't take a before picture.
Oh gosh, I didn't know you had keloid. I would love to see that.
What's the craziest recovery story you've heard? Because I'm sure you get all the Lumebox testimonials.
It's really the best part. It's the best part. Like it's the part that keeps me going, because running a business is so damn hard.
Mm-hmm.
But when those testimonials come in, you're like, okay, it's worth it. Let's just keep going. But yeah, there's so many, and I'm not making any claims about curing anything, but thyroid is
thyroid. I've had friends who used it for thyroid issues, and it's remarkable what they've done.
Yeah, and people who've needed surgery for their arthritis in their neck, knee, back, whatever, and they're like, oh, I don't need it anymore. It's like, wow, that's crazy. But yeah, like people getting off thyroid medications and things like that is, there's so many. And the before and after pictures of some of the scars as well. Like I have not seen that, like even in dermatology. I worked for 2 years as a dermatology resident, and we used to operate and we monitor the scars and things like that. But wow, like the scars after red light therapy, it's unbelievable. That's why, I think that it basically has been shown in the science. We just haven't tapped into it. And now people are more and more tapping into it, which is, so amazing. And a lot of people are like, well, how can red light do that many things? It's like, it must be snake oil. Like, how can it do?
Like Windex, remember from what's that movie, that Greek movie?
Oh, yes. My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
Yeah, Windex everything. Yeah.
I'm like that with my Lumebox.
I know. Yeah, but it's because it's helping every single cell that you expose it to work better. But even cells that you haven't exposed light to, that's something that's blowing out my mind right now that I'm reading about, which is that the mitochondria in the area you're shining light on tells mitochondria in a distant part of the body to also work better. And so there was that study. So I mentioned Professor Glenn Jeffries. He did a study on healthy volunteers who drank sugar drink. So 75 grams of sugar water that they drank. So it's what called an oral glucose tolerance test. Is what you do in pregnancy as well. And so he exposed one group of people to just 15 minutes of light in this area, like this big. So this is the size of a Lumebox, basically, on the upper back. 15 minutes. And then he measured their blood sugar response to that 75 grams of glucose. And he found that those who received red light therapy had a 30% lower blood sugar response.
Wow.
So 30% lower blood sugar spike if you expose red light therapy first. And it's not even on the pancreas, where insulin's made. It's on the upper back, which tells you that there is systemic effect to that light. The light is sending a message, a signal to your body. And it's telling mitochondria, hey, work better. And, mitochondria is where the blood glucose is processed and metabolized. And it makes sense, right? If you push the mitochondria to work harder, then there's more glucose uptake and you have better blood
Wait,
sugar
so now I
control.
have a question. So we should be using this before we eat?
Potentially. I mean, this was on 24 people, right? So I never translate this into clinical
Yeah, well, I'm going to be
practice.
the 25th.
But what he's doing now
try
is he's doing the study on diabetics. And that's going to be really interesting. But every time I share the study, I have people ask me, oh, sure, so can I get off my medication now for diabetes? No, please work with your doctor. But it's an adjunct. It's something you can try, but based on very small studies, we can't make conclusions yet, right? But it's very interesting. And there was another study I later found that showed that people who had more sun exposure during the day also had better blood sugar control. And they think that it could be because of the infrared component that's activating the mitochondria.
Unbelievable. That's fascinating.
That I feel like that makes so much sense. Like the days that I'm outside more, I also just feel better in general. But
Yeah.
I don't have like the cravings.
I think the other thing that we didn't address is the EMFs in other red lights versus yours. And maybe just quickly explain what EMFs are for those who don't know, and then why.
Yeah. So
Important to
EMF is
consider.
electromagnetic frequency. Now, to put it into context, I'm more concerned about EMF coming from your phone than I am from a red light device, right? You're using a red light device, 10, 20 minutes a day, whereas your phone, hours and hours. So I just want to put that into context. I know people like really freak out about EMF. Light is part of that electromagnetic frequency spectrum. Like you are going to get some EMF from light. If you go outside, sunlight is giving you EMF, but it's good for you. So that's the context and nuance. But EMF from your phone and microwave and things like that, not so ideal. Right. But it's all about exposure and length of exposure. So I'm personally not that concerned, honestly, about EMF from red light devices, but I did measure the EMF of Lumebox because I know consumers do, care about that, and we test very low, and that's one of the reasons is because it's battery operated. So red light devices, if you have like the big panels where you're plugging it into the wall, that's where you'd probably get the most EMF because it's that alternating current that's generating the EMF and the flicker and things like that. Whereas a battery operated one, it's not that much of a concern, honestly.
Love that. I didn't know that about plugging the wall.
Makes me feel better too because I literally sleep with my Lumebox, and I know
Oh, and if it's off, it's going to emit nothing at all.
nothing.
It's not like the phone where it's constantly, and don't get the Wi-Fi enabled. I mean, they're crazy enough. People get Wi-Fi enabled red light devices. Like, why would you ever need that?
I didn't even know there was Wi-Fi.
Oh, yeah. There are quite a few that have Wi-Fi functionality.
I mean, I know there are for like air purifiers, and like you can disable it on some of them, but I didn't know.
Oh yeah,
for
red light devices. Yeah. I don't know why you need it, but I wouldn't get those because those will be constantly putting out signals, right? To look for whatever signals that your phone might be sending to it. I want to kind of delve into a little bit more, which is that you feel so much better when you go outside. And that's what I want. I really want this message to be the key message, like what we end on. Like it's just to get outside more. Like red light therapy devices are great. Like I think Lumeboxes should be in every home. I think it's a great supplement to what we can't get, right? And also you're not going to get outside for skin rejuvenation and things like that. You sometimes just need that targeted dose. But getting outside is still the key. Like
it makes such a difference. And even when it's not sunny, like I just feel better, even if it's like really cold. I take a 10-minute walk with the girls, and my son will somewhat come with me sometimes. Um, but the girls are always ready to like go hiking with
Oh,
me. But
I
just
love
10
that.
minutes makes such a difference, even on the cold, like cloudy
Yes.
days.
Yes, exactly. And you know how I love studies, right? There was this study that showed that people who lived near green spaces had a 30% lower risk of dying from any cause, 30% lower risk of diabetes as well. Why is that? Well, they think that one reason is because the green actually reflects red and near infrared onto us. Right? So when you're out in open space with greenery around, like we naturally feel so great about it. First, I think looking at green makes you calmer anyway, but there is that biological, like you're actually receiving red light therapy in green spaces just naturally. And if you're at home, if your glass doesn't block red and near infrared, if you put a plant near your window, that's reflecting red and near infrared into your room.
Put what next to your window?
A
Oh,
plant.
plant.
Yeah, a green plant.
It's very true because sometimes, like, I'll go to the gym versus going outside and hiking. And the days that I'm hiking outside, I feel so much more energized and can get through the day. Like, I'm not as frustrated putting the kids down at night. I can easily do it. But the days that I'm inside more, oh, I notice it.
I'm so grateful for you because Lumebox wouldn't be where it is without you guys. Seriously. You guys know I'm not a marketer, but
Vivian is not great at marketing. I will very much go behind that.
I
Yeah.
don't sell myself. I
But
just
she knows how to make she knows science and she knows what to do. And
and
yeah.
you guys just market it for
We
me.
could take
Thank
it from there, Vivian.
you. I'm just
Also,
so
we're not
grateful
paid to
for
do
it.
this. We just truly love
I
you and
know.
we love
Well, I
this.
think
So
that's
we're
why
really
it's people believe you, right? Because I think people are so sick and tired of ads now. Whereas most of the people talking about Loombox, they're not paid. Like customers, they're just sharing it with their friends and family, which just means so much. Truly, thank you.
we love you, Vivian.
Love you.
Thank you.
Mwah.
Love you too. Thank you so much for having me.
This podcast does not constitute medical advice or recommendation. Please consult your doctor.